Strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Sweet.
All right. How's everybody doing? Good morning. What time is it? 10:30 here, so 11:30. Good late morning if you're on the East Coast, early afternoon. Good morning if you're anywhere else. How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody for coming in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. That's something I haven't been saying that in a long time, and I realized that last week. I'm like, man, I don't tell people to hit the like button anymore. All right, so make sure you guys hit the like button. All right, so that the stream can go to wherever it needs to go to. Do me that favor, please. Make sure you guys hit the like button. All right, so boom. What I want to do now is because I've been focusing on cost, right? And I say, well, you got to understand business when you're investing into a business. And one of the main key things of being successful is understanding cost. And this is in any business that you enter into. So last week I did a stream in the morning where I compared nurses to, this industry. But I'm going to do a comparison of another form of logistics in comparison to the box truck business and how this gentleman talks about the operational cost of the logistics of touring and then kind of correlate that to the box truck business. And I want you guys to really pay attention how this young brother really knows the cost of everything. So like when I do the call-in show, when I be talking to people on the Discord, it's a lot of don't know. Like, listen, you have to know this stuff. All right. This is very instrumental to being successful. You got to know what you're paying for stuff. You have to know the ROI if you're making money on your investment, if you're losing money on your investment. The main reason a lot of people fail is because they don't even know if they're getting any ROI. They don't know. They don't keep accounting of these things. And if you're going to be lazy where you're not going to keep the accounting, then you need to hire someone that will, so that, all your credits and your debits, you can just download a PDF or CSV file and forward it to the person or the company or the entity that's going to manage this stuff for you, because you're lazy and you don't want to do it for yourself. See how people come in, it was 30 going on 40 people. Then as soon as we get to talking about costs, I always say, I pay attention. They leave. But if I come up here and I talk about some dumb shit, right? Some bullshit, it's like the engagement is there, the chat rate is there, the view length is there. But as soon as we get to talking about something that involves some arithmetic, something that's going to be beneficial for you and your business, you see people come in, oh man, I don't want to hear that bullshit. And then they leave, and then they come into the damn goddamn, they quietly sneak into my DMs and my emails and my Facebook messengers and the Discord. I see these people in public and they come and stop me, and you know what I'm saying? So when I do this type of stuff, you should pay attention. You in your truck anyway. You got your headset on and you driving. Just listen. You might find something beneficial that's going to actually help you. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a breakdown. It's a 50-minute video. I'm going to skip through a lot of parts of it, but I think this is a good comparison, and I want you to look at another form of logistics, right? And how this person is investing into it for the artist. The artist is a well-known rapper, and understand the operation, the operational costs, and how he's able to speak on it. All right. And know every single thing. Look, see, this is what I'm saying. This is why I say the shit that I say. But we're gonna cook up anyway. Let's do it.
An investment. We're investing back into the business. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if we got to take an L on the tour, it's fine. We're gonna give an experience that, like, no, that you go to one of these venues and you buy another $50 ticket for another artist, you're not gonna get the same experience as when you came to the show that Joyner did. And these venues, these are like 2,000 cap venues. So most of these venues, you don't got parking for like 4 buses, because nobody comes into these venues with 4 buses, right? It doesn't make financial sense.
Right.
So you got to, you do simple math, right? You got $20 a ticket, or sorry, $50 a ticket. You got 2,000 seats, right? So when you do the math, you're guaranteed, you might walk out of one of these venues, a Live Nation venue or something, you might walk out with 30,000, maybe 50, you know what I mean? So anywhere from 20 and 50, depending on the city. If the cap's a little higher or lower, markets are different, you know what I mean? And so.
All right, so this is the tour bus industry. This is the manager for Joyner Lucas. And touring is logistics, right? You got the buses, the upkeep on the buses, paying the bus operators, the drivers, the wear and tear, whether you're going to rent a bus for the tour or multiple buses, depending on how big the tour is and how many people are going on the tour, or you're going to buy a bus, the maintenance while you're, all this shit, the waste on the bus, you know what I'm saying? All that. So I want you guys to listen. I'm going to stop throughout, and we're going to do some comparing and contrast, because it's still logistics, and I thought this would be a cool, comparison analysis.
To bring one of these on the road, you're with a driver, because you got to pay for the bus, you got to pay for the driver, you got to pay for the fuel, right? So a 34-day tour is about $20,000 just in fuel, right? So.
And I want you to pay attention how this brother knows the cost. It's important, because they have to get a return on the investment. The ticket sales, right, is going to be the return on investment. So you have to know logistically what it's costing you logistically to do a tour, for the buses, the staff, everything, the amount of money that's being spent, to come up with an equation on what to sell the tickets for each venue. How many seats does each venue hold? But it all starts with the logistics cost. The logistics cost is going to determine the price of the tickets. It's just like what I try to explain to people. Listen, you got to know your cost per mile. If you don't know what your operational costs are, just like he has to know the operational costs for the logistics of the tour, to determine what they can sell tickets for based on how many seats are in each particular venue. It's the same thing on this side. You don't know the operational costs. How do you know what loads to accept or what to charge a customer?
Day, you're spending about $2,000 when you summarize it, right? So we got one, two, well, technically 3 in a semi, right? So we're 6,000 a day on buses technically. We're driver, right?
Just for buses.
And what's in each bus?
So Star bus, so Joiner, crew bus, and then I got a management bus. So me and Joiner early, what we did is in 2020, when COVID happened, the touring business went down. So me and him went in and started buying up buses. So we own all the buses.
Bought it while it was low.
We bought it while it was low.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? When COVID first happened, the market tanked. Every market tanked. Stock market, crypto market, the touring market, every industry tanked, right? Later on that year, 2021 primarily, everything started to go up and get inflated. But when COVID first happened, when this economical collapse first happened, everything went down, right? He understood that. So now that was the perfect time to start buying buses because you got it on the low. Now, if they would have waited a year, year and a half, then everything was inflated. Even now, they had cash on hand. It's something that I always talk about. Have cash on hand. I talked about that last week. I probably talked about it in the Discord. When there's blood in the streets, there's opportunity. And the people who have cash on hand, when economical collapses happen, are the people who win. When the housing market crashed, the people who had cash, they were the people that could go out and buy these dilapidated buildings for $10,000 and $20,000, put $30,000, $40,000 cash into them, do a full gut rehab. Now they in 50, 60, Section 8 them out. And here we are 14 years later, they're selling these buildings that they all in back in 2010, spent $50,000 on as far as acquiring a building, doing the full gut rehab. After all these years of, making their money back tenfold, right? From renting the units out, whether they're renting them out at market value or Section 8, they made their money back 12, 13 years ago. Now they could turn around and sell that same building for $400,000, $500,000. Why? Because the opportunity, when was a downfall for somebody's downfall is somebody else's opportunity. This is why I always say have cash on hand. Listen, go out and do what's not in your best interest and come holler at me. When you go out and you continue to do things that are not in your best interest, let me know what assets you have. I'll buy them for you on the low. I feel your situation. I'm sorry, but listen, how can I help make this better for you? I have cash for you. I'm buying it on the low, though. Same situation here.
That's hard.
You know what I'm saying? And so we own about 5.
So y'all rent them out to other people?
We even own our own trailers too. So there's a whole nother story there, but our trailer hit a bridge in Chicago. They had the measurements wrong on the bridge, so the top of the trailer got shaved off. So we had to go rent another trailer to put on here.
Sheesh.
That happened in Chicago. Yeah, it's crazy.
That was on this tour?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So that's recent.
Yeah, that just happened. Yeah. So yeah, and you don't have a show every day.
So they bought buses because for this particular artist, it makes sense. Most of his revenue comes off touring, right? He's not signed to any majors anymore. So he's an artist that has a niche following, and he makes a lot of money off touring. So it was in their best interest to go acquire equipment. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand why people think renting is better. Even in this form of logistics, it makes more sense to own your equipment. If this is something that you're going to do for as far as the eye can see, or as far as you know, because you quit your job or you're starting a business, you're not going to become set overnight. If this is something that you're going to do for the long term, I don't understand why people think renting is the way to go. You're going to get more bang for your buck when you own. When their opportunity presented itself for them to go acquire their equipment, when COVID first happened, That's when the opportunity was, and that's when they struck, and that was very, very smart. They went and acquired their buses. Why? Because they're able to see more on their investment. They're not renting. They own the buses. When Joyner is not touring, they can lease those buses out to other people that are touring. They even acquired their own semi-truck and trailer to transport all the lights and the monitors and all the stage equipment. They are fully invested into their business.
You have a show today and you have an off day tomorrow, but you still paying the cost, right? So it just doesn't make financial sense. Sometimes we'll bring some of these buses into the venue and they won't have parking because they don't have facility for that many. But like an arena has places and docks where you can park the buses. These guys, not every venue does. These guys were able to do it, but we had a venue in Toronto, and we had to park like 10 minutes out. 2 of the buses. Only 1 bus could stay out there, because of the permits and roads and shit like that. So there's a lot of logistics with it, and so you're talking, a couple thousand on each of the buses, and then we got the trailers. So this trailer right here, this is all our merchandising. So we just put dedicated merch in here.
So each one of their buses is pulling a trailer.
The first tour we were on, look, you see stacked up.
and their tours is they're pretty much funding their tours, obviously, as you can see. They're not, Joyner isn't a big artist where, Live Nation is giving them allowance and they say, okay, we're gonna pay you for each day, and then they're giving them a touring budget, so to pay off the stage hands and all the things that are associated. I did a small, when I was doing the Def Jam thing back in college, I got a chance to do a stint of the backstage tour in the Midwestern market. So I kind of understand it a little bit, but by him being an indie artist, a lot of these costs they're paying them up front. So he understands the touring business, and just pay attention.
Stacked up with stuff,
Because all this is logistics. This is all transportation logistics.
And then you can't carry everything on the tour. So you got to get shipments in. So as we're selling, we're sending shipments to the next cities coming. Because we can't carry everything. You know what I mean? It's just not enough room, right? And so when we had our first tour, we had a bus, but we put all this stuff in the bays of the bus. So we couldn't even carry that much. You know what I mean? Because, finances were more limited and things like that, but this whole tour it's an investment. We're investing back into the business. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if we got to take an L on the tour, it's fine. We're gonna give an experience that, like, that you go to one of these venues and you buy another $50 ticket for another artist, you're not gonna get the same experience as when you came to the show that Joyner did.
Right? That's important, man.
So now when he says take an L on the tier, you got to understand this situation and your particular situation is different. Why? Because your money is different. It's just like when I talk about, you got companies that are funded by angel investors and venture capitalists who have money and start the business understanding, listen, we're probably not going to turn profit for 10 years. We're probably going to operate in the negative for 10, 11, 12 years. But we have enough investment from angel investors and venture capitalists during these multiple seed funding rounds that while we're taking these L's, we're learning the business, we're getting more a bigger footprint in the market, so on and so forth, so that 10 years from now, once we capture a large portion of the market share and we understand how to make profit, then they'll make profit. But they go in already understanding, listen, we're going to operate at a loss for X amount of years, but it's okay because we got $80 million sitting in the kitty to do so. All right. So them investing into, let's say, this tour, you already got millions of dollars, right? So boom, we come into these different markets, we introduce, people to the artist, or we reintroduce people to the artist, so then maybe they go back and they stream more. The next time we come back, maybe we can sell our tickets at a higher price and then make our money back there, right? So you got to understand different industries and, different businesses, they can go into something understanding that they're taking a loss because they have the capital to do so, and they have a reason to do so because they may be looking at their ROI somewhere else down the line. When you are a small owner operator who's not working with that type of capital, who doesn't have that type of business plan, and you're working off, limited resources, whether you saved up for it, this, that, like, you got to hit the ground running. You got to hit the ground running. You don't have the resources that these venture capitalist funded businesses have. You can't operate at a loss for 10 years. Like some of these companies, like Uber and Lyft. These guys still ain't profitable. Uber had one profitable quarter, which was Q4 2023. Every other quarter since their inception back in, 2009, has been at a loss. Even with all the shady shit that they've been doing. Lyft, right? A lot of these VC-funded companies operate for years at a loss until they figure out how to become profitable. You don't have the luxury of doing that. Andreessen Horowitz isn't pumping $20 billion into your get it out the mud trucking LLC war chest. Is Andreessen Horowitz, can you call Andreessen Horowitz and say, man, I need series funding round A? I need about $10 million. You can't do that. The name of your company is Getting It Out the Mud Trucking LLC. So guess what? Your funding got to come from you getting it out the mud. So you have to look at it a little bit differently. But let's continue.
To me, that's a big deal. So I tell a lot of like smaller artists who can't do what y'all are talking about. Like there's all these like alternative venues that you can use these days that aren't even a main venue. Like if you go to Peer Space or something where it just looks different. And I always say because you're gonna go on the same stage that these other people are on. And if you're not doing something special up there, production costs money, then it's just gonna feel like another act. But y'all actually have the ability to invest. And I love that y'all are cognizant of it. Like,
keyword, he just answered, y'all have the ability to invest. Everybody's money is different. So if your resources are limited, you have to act like your resources are limited. It's a lot of people that come up on my platform to talk to me, and they invest into this business with no knowledge of the business, no research, no understanding, don't know any cost per mile, and they act like they have the ability to operate at a loss for an extended period of time, and you don't. Because if you did, I'm being honest, listen, if you had bread like that, the last thing you would be thinking about is starting as a goddamn box truck business. Let's just keep it a buck. If you had bread like that to really invest in something with the understanding, listen, I can invest into this business for about 5-6 years, really understand the business, get more market share, get a bigger footprint, really understand the market, and I see us become profitable about 5-6 years down the line. We got enough money to take us that far. The last thing you would be thinking about investing is a goddamn box truck business. Why? I got bread. What I'm going to invest in something like that for, where the margins are low and all the shit that we talk about, you're going to have to deal with. When there's other things that you can invest in that you don't have to deal with the penny ante ass shit. Here, you can pretty much just put your money in and have smart people go out and do all these things for you that you don't know how to do. And you can invest that money over that period of time so that the business can be profitable. Do you want to be thinking about a goddamn box truck business? Let's just keep it a buck. The reason why you started a box truck business is the same reason I started one. Back against the wall. For the most part, some people out here because Man and them told them on the Instagram that, they could make $1 million. But I digress.
Literally, someone's coming the next day, and if it just feels damn near the same, like how is what I did special?
A lot of people is just coming in, grabbing their bag. How do you keep costs low? Next city. Yeah. So they got a mic, they got a stage. You know what I mean? They basic house lights, basic sound. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that. See? Then we got to deal with things like this. You know what I'm saying? Look. You can see it right here. You know what I mean?
It's another day, man.
Every city, like, yeah, it's something. But look, check, so this semi, right? So these are the video panels we bring in. So we bring in our own walls and stuff, but so this gets stacked all the way to the back, right? And this shit ends probably where these wheels are, right there.
Just in lights alone.
Lights, video, we bring in extra sound into the venue, and it goes all the way up. You see that bar right there?
Yeah.
So that it goes up about a little bit higher than that. We went on a Chris Brown tour. He had one just for fucking clothes, like his wardrobe, and, you know, and like dances on stage and all the wardrobes. Yes. So that's all.
So some of y'all that live in smaller markets, and this is something I wanted to talk about, you know, especially to you guys that got semi, that have CDLs. There's a lot of money in touring, especially as a CDL driver. If you just heard what he said, Chris Brown has one semi truck just for clothes. For some of you guys that live in smaller markets, you may not get a chance to see some of the shit that I see, but when certain artists come to the market, like I live right by Soldier Field, so recently I can hear the Beyoncés, I can hear the Rolling Stones just played there recently, right? So I can hear this stuff from my balcony. I can hear these concerts, right? So when you look at an act like the Rolling Stones, per se, you'll see the tour buses. So you figure each artist has their own bus, right? You figure they have a marketing bus, they have a management bus, they have a crew bus, so on and so forth. And then they have their stage set up, right? And then you'll see maybe like 10, 15, 20 semi trucks that are on that tour that's pulling all the equipment as far as the stage build out, the lights, the cameras, the boom mics, just all the shit that's associated with putting on a tour for an artist of that magnitude. Like logistically, tour drivers make a lot of money, but you're committed to the tour. You're committed to the tour. So if you're going on like a 50-day tour and you got to show every other night, like there's no going home. There's no going home. But you're making a big old bag of money. You know, I know someone that does this. He's like an assistant to the management on these different tours, and it's like you're gone for 6 months away from the crib, but it pays a big old bag of money. So there's a lot of opportunity in logistics outside of the basic what you think and what you know, box truck business, dock to dock, semi, dock to dock, hazmat. There's other lanes that you could listen. These guys make a big old bag of money. The tour bus drivers, the semi truck drivers, they make a bag of money because the commitment, like you can't, like you're on the tour. So it may be a day or two in between, right? That the artist may not hop on the tour bus. He may take a PJ back to the crib and then take a PJ back to whatever the next city is. You can't do that. You know why? Because it's your responsibility to get all that equipment that you got on your semi truck from Chicago down. The next city may be St. Louis. Or let's say, depending on how the tour wraps around, you may go from Chicago up to Minneapolis. So you're traveling for a day. And this is why they pay you so handsomely. So there's ways to make money.
It's like
These guys are making more money than owner operators.
2019, that shit was like a crash course.
And company drivers that do local shit or over the road shit, they checking a bag.
Because we went into that tour and we was just looking at the whole operation.
The whole setup, yeah.
It gave us insight on, oh shit, like if we're gonna do it, this is what it's gonna look like. You know what I mean? So this was like our baby step into like getting there. You know what I mean? This was like a baby step into that. So, you know, we started investing into our own stuff just for that reason alone. You know, and we was like, we didn't want to be subject to, oh, we can't do it because finance is gonna, once we had the money, we was like, we gotta get what we need so we can build on it, you know what I mean? And set up the foundation.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because you were saying over there, right, like you were saying like for most artists, it's not worth it to do it. So what was the conversation that you and Joyner had that made y'all be like, nah, it's worth it for us to go ahead and make this investment?
So I'm a numbers person, right? And I'm more of like the business swivel on this, right? So I'm constantly looking at it from a numbers point of view. He's looking at it from a creative experience. Obviously his content's more video driven, so the video is like mandatory. You know what I mean? So I would say it was more of him decision. Because from a numbers view, nobody will say it makes sense. Right. I was like, bro, like, what are we doing? This is crazy, right? But he's like, I don't care. I'll take the loss on it, bro. I don't care. The experience has to be A1. The fans have to leave, so they come back and they feel they want to see what I'm gonna do next. He goes, it's no different than my music videos. They watch one of my videos and then they're like, yo, I can't wait till Joyner drops another joint, and we don't know what to expect from him. Right. Yo, he goes, my shows have to be the same way. And so when he broke it down for me like that, I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, we put it this way, we started touring in 2016. We've been reinvesting into it, and we're in 2024 now. Yeah. So we've been 8 years reinvesting into this business to just keep trying to level it up. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna hit that,
the escape velocity,
where then it's gonna be like, okay, now, not just like anything, bro. You drop content, you get dropped, and then you get picked up by a label, and you drop content, and you get that one break. The touring business is the same way. You got to keep investing into it. You know what I mean? There's no shortcuts. It's hard ticket buyers. People coming out spending their money. It's hard ticket buyers. And they're coming out to these shows spending. They're spending a ton of money. Like, it's not just $50 on the ticket. You know what I mean? Like, it's a preparation. How are they gonna get there? The food. Spending money, merchandising when they're in there, drinking. Clothes, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a whole thing that goes into going to a show. They're gonna call off work, or they're not gonna work that day. You know what I mean? So it's not just a $50 ticket or a $100 ticket, you know what I'm saying? There's a whole, so, it's not easy to get people to spend money to wanna come out and watch you. That's like one of the hardest things to do. Like, people don't even pay for music at this point, right? So.
You want me to leave my house?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's really tough, man. Even with a fan base, it's really difficult.
What about festivals? Do y'all look at festivals, or y'all try to stay aside from it so they can only see you when you come out?
That's an interesting one. So the festivals, what they do is, right, they'll have the main headliners, and they're paying the biggest bag to them, and then everybody else is getting shorted on the bill, and they're just running up the numbers on the short. They know your values more than whatever it is in that market, but they're giving you a lowball offer, because you get to headline you get to perform with this person on that.
I want to touch on something he said a moment ago, where he said they've been touring since 2016, and each year they're constantly reinvesting back into the business. Obviously, there's some delayed gratification, right? There somewhere, right? They're paying themselves enough to provide somewhat of a comfortable living, and obviously their living of comfortable living is going to be different from our level of comfortable living, because depending on how many dates he's doing with streaming and things like that, he could be picking up $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a night. All right. So their level of comfortability is different, but they have the math down to understand, listen, this is what we can pay ourselves, and this is what we have to reinvest back into the business so that we can grow. Where, he's not he hasn't been signed to Atlantic probably in the past 6 or 7 years. Right, so he's independent. So a lot of the cost for him to stay relevant is coming out of the pocket, which is why the investment into the tour buses, which is why the investment into the semi truck, which is why the investment into the trailer and other utility trailers that are being pulled by the tour bus, down to the merchandising and things. This is all revenue, and you have to fully understand your operational costs logistically to be able to price point the tickets, right, and the merchandise so that you can get that ROI. The whole purpose of me showing you this is so that you can listen to this brother speak candidly and fluently on cost, because he understands it. In order to grow, you have to understand cost. You'll never grow if you don't understand cost. Mark, how did you do it? I understood cost. If I was taking a loss on the first truck, I would have never had the capital to get the second or the third, so on and so forth. We had a conversation in the Discord yesterday And we were having the same conversation. Someone wanted to go out and take out a loan for a 6-figure loan. But it all led back to what I always talk about, cost. Not understanding the cost, robbing from the sustainability, so on. It always leads down that same path. Well, man, I should get a loan. No, I never got a loan. I reinvested the money from the business. The business funded each additional truck. It recouped, funded the next truck. It recouped, funded the next truck. I never took out a loan. I paid cash for everything. The reason why the business can grow and there was capital there to keep growing is because I understood cost. I understood every single thing that I did, that we did, that my company did, how much it was costing me to do it so that I can know what to charge or what to accept. I'm not out here to just be doing shit just because to tell people I'm doing it. Yeah, this is me and I'm doing it over here. Listen, I'm out here to get this bread. And then when I came to the realization, look, I'm not finna be doing this the rest of my life. I thought this is something I could do no, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So man, we need to buckle down and we really need to run it up because I need to get up out this jam by this time frame. You got to understand costs. You'll never scale if you don't understand costs. And he's saying the exact same thing from this form of logistics, from this form of transportation logistics that I be telling y'all every single day.
Stage. They're selling you the stage. You know what I'm saying? And so these festivals are set up where, you know, you're not making the money you really should, right? You're gonna make the money once you're that guy and you're like top 3 on that stage, right? But everyone else ain't really making that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they mess up the ability to do your own show, or do they help? Like maybe you do it one year, then the next year you come back and just do your own show.
I think it's like anything. It's like supply and demand. You know, so they're like, oh.
I'm finna end the live stream, man. I always talk about supply and demand, and I always get challenged by other content creators. Supply and demand. Everything is supply and demand when it comes to logistics for the most part. This is why I'm so heavy on economics and I try to bait people into these debates. I'm not doing it for free. You got to come with the bag. This is when I get to talk my shit. Come with the bag. We're going to put the bag into escrow because we don't want to have no repeats. We're going to have to put that bag into an escrow account. We're going to have a mediator to release that bag to me once I win. All right? This is why this is why I'm so adamant about economics. This is why I can continuously forecast things. Even if the shit don't happen right away, it happens. From Amazon to the economy, even early this year, Jerome Powell, 3 rate cuts. What was I telling y'all at the beginning of this year? Said we're not going to see no rate cuts. If we see any rate cuts, it'll be 1 or none. Jerome Powell was telling y'all 3. Go back and look at the content. We in August now. We damn near at the end of quarter 3. There's no way we getting 3 rate cuts. I told you that at the beginning of this year. Last year, freight waves. Oh, we're going to see the market shift in Q2. I said, man, you're going to see a similar pattern to what you're seeing right now. Well, Mark, freight waves are saying this. Nope. Look at the economy. It's not going to happen. But you listen to freight waves. Mark told you something different. Damn, Mark, you was right. How you know? I keep telling y'all, all that extra shit listen, supply and demand, understanding economics, whether it's micro or it's macro. When you're looking at the state of the economy from a micro perspective, from an individual perspective, or you looking at it from the grand scheme of things from a macro perspective, all this plays a part. Like you want to be a business person, but you don't want to be the smart guy. Listen, there's no dumb. listen, there's no such thing as like you can't be a successful business person and be dumb. So you have to enlighten, you have to educate yourself, because then you're gonna be like some of these people that come up here and talk and don't know what the hell they talking about. And I'm not thinking about one specific person, because we've seen a magnitude of people over the past couple of years in multiple arenas in content creation, from content creation education to trucking education to financial education. Listen, it's a whole thing right now on the financial guys. Meet Kevin, all these, they getting slandered. Why? Because a lot of the things that they perpetuated have not come to pass, but they constantly selling courses on housing hacks and shit like this. Now, some of the shit that these guys say is true, but their credibility is kind of rocky because some of it comes to pass and some of it doesn't. Why? Because these guys are learning as they go. And I told y'all about following people that's learning as they go. Supply and demand, economics, even in this form of transportation. You can't just figure shit out and just think things are gonna listen. Man, I digress, man.
We're gonna grab you so you can't perform this market when we come in, because you're gonna have a radius clause and all that, you know, and we're gonna get you on the low and you're gonna accept it, because we're gonna bring all these people out that you can't get in front of, because it's more people at this festival because of the headlines. So they're leveraging the fact.
Leverage. Every single thing that I talk about in this form of transportation holds precedence in that form of transportation. The words that I use, he's using the exact same words. That guy over there with all that business shit, that shit don't mean shit. I'm out here. That shit back in the day ain't got shit to do. Let me explain something to you. Everything that I tell you guys holds precedence then and it holds precedence now. The bag is up. I am willing to debate anybody when it comes to this trucking shit. Put your money in escrow. I'm going to put my money in escrow. We're going to have a mediator. I need my bag. I'm not going to get gaffled like the last time. You're not going to gaffle me. Mom's the word. This is what we looking at like in the chat right now. We looking at crickets. We listening to crickets. Growth, success. The verbiage that he's using is the same verbiage and the same lessons that I tell y'all time and time. That's crazy. Ain't that some shit?
They got this big festival with thousands of people in it, the big acts, the big stage. You know, the benefits is you're not having to pay for all this, right? So we have to pay for this on our own shit. We go to a festival, this is already there, right? And then we just bring in the staff that's gonna make sure your shit's done right, right? Like,
What's a radius clause?
what's that?
A radius clause, what's that?
Well, like you can't perform within a certain mile radius of that location. So if it's New York, they'll say you can't perform there for 90 days or something, you know, before or after or whatever it is, you know. So you can't go to that city and perform. So yeah, so they're just taking like almost like exclusivity for that time frame.
Like a franchise.
It's leverage. It's like you going into a 3PL using your leverage because you got a magnitude or a multitude of trucks, and you can come in there and kind of put your foot on the necks of the smaller individuals. If I'm an independent promoter, right, and I do shows on a local level, I got a bag. I can pay artists to come in and do performances. But if Live Nation is also doing the same thing, and they the big dog in the space, and they want to, let's say, bring an act to Chicago, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say SWV or some shit like that. They might do an exclusivity radius clause saying, listen, we're going to bring you and we're going to put you in this market. We're going to pay you the X amount of dollars to do this show, but you can't do a show in this market or in the surrounding areas, whether it be Indianapolis, Iowa, St. Louis, Milwaukee, because they figure, okay, we'll put you in Chicago and your core fans will drive those 4 hours up into this market to see you, because you're not really touring like that because you're an older artist, so you do what's considered novelty tours. So now the smaller person who might want to book them, let's say 60 days later, I can't, because they put that exclusivity clause in that radius clause, so I can't double back and book them again. That's leverage from the big dog. I can't do nothing about that because it's Live Nation. They the big dogs. Man, y'all better, hey, leave me alone. This is when I get to talking my shit. Leave me alone.
Yeah. You know, so it's, you know, it's yeah. So you know, the festivals is good. You get a lot of exposure and stuff. But then there's a lot of artists that go on these festivals, but when they go try a headline, they can't sell nothing. So they're doing the festival circuit. A lot of artists, they get a trendy record, and then you see them, they're on every festival, and then they try to do their own headline and they can't do it. And it's like you haven't invested into your audience long enough. You haven't invested into doing your own shows where people want to see this experience that you can give them. They're not sold yet. You did the festival circuit and they saw like another 50 acts. You were one of 50. You wasn't one of one on your own show. You were one of 50, right? So it's like, what experience did you? And then what? You're not even headlining that because you were a trendy artist with a record that just popped that year. Someone else's headline, and their show is looking crazy. You know, I think they said something about Cardi, like Cardi B. She had like did some Super Bowl performance. Wasn't one Super Bowl. It was a Coachella or something. Yeah, it was a Coachella, and something about how she had to invest like
like 600K or something. It was something. I remember that. Yeah.
Right, and that was like, why is she
addition to
doing
what
that?
they were doing.
Right. Yeah. It's because she investing back into. I'm gonna make this shit look so epic. So every single one of you that are here is gonna say, I need to go to a Cardi show when I pull up in this city by myself.
Yeah, I feel like that's the real downside to the festival, right? It's like if you don't care enough to invest to create your own experience, right, you gotta let Coachella, Rolling Loud, whatever, create it. Yeah. And I think that messes with the young artists like ego, because I can imagine, bro, being like a new act, your first time ever performing at like a festival, 30, 40, 50,000 people, and I can imagine it just like fucks up your mentality moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
Thinking
like,
that's what it is.
Yeah, thinking that's what it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me show you the bus though, so you can see what the road look like. So what we did was we wrapped the whole shit with Tully and the joiner to get the promotion around it. We were gonna be on the road anyway, right? So we're like, we might as well go ahead and.
It's like a $10,000 to $20,000 wrap. This wrap's probably somewhere between 10 to 20 grand.
You know, promote what we're doing with Tully and, you know, and the project that we just dropped.
Is this the first time y'all did this on the tour? Like wrapped it?
Yeah, no, I had it wrapped before, but on the tour, yeah.
Cause I was like, the branding is current. This is like the current tour branding, yeah.
So we just did this. We just did this for this tour specifically. So to wrap a bus, you know, you're talking about 10,000. Roughly to wrap it, you know, outside of the cost. So there's so much miscellaneous costs. You rent a trailer, you're spending another 3,000-4,000 for the month. You know, it just racks up. You know, the driver gets paid a little bit more to pull a trailer. They get paid an extra 50 a day or whatever. Really? You know, so you're paying another 3,000 for the driver for pulling the trailer. You know, you go into a city like New York, you can't even take this in there. So if we performing in New York, this has to park in like Jersey City or some shit. Then we have to get like a pickup truck that will come in and pull this in, because you can't, it's like you need permits and shit to bring stuff in. You can't bring these buses in. They'll let the semi come in, but it's gonna come in, load out, and leave, and then come back. You know, so there's some, you know, there's logistics that come with the whole thing. Extra costs, because now you got to bring that in, right? You got to get the pickup truck and the driver to bring this in when you get there. Here, we'll jump on the joint. Like like our house basically. You know what I'm saying? It's the living room. And all the buses have different layouts. These are shells, these are Prevost buses, and all these get built out, you know, specifically. So the crew bus got 12 bunks in it. Whoa. It's like jail. Yeah, but this is like, you know, this is a little bit more comfortable. Go through here, you got like the bathroom.
Oh man, this is like a restaurant level sink, man.
Yeah, it's a nice bathroom, man.
We got 2 bunks right here, 1, 2. So I usually travel 1, 2 people with me, you know what I mean? And then I've got bedroom, got studio set up in the back.
Why is there a studio in yours?
Make music.
You make music too?
Yeah, make beats and shit, you know? So I went to school for music.
Okay.
I went to Full Sail in 2004. So I graduated from there. So my passion was always to like do music. I just didn't know how, like, or what my position in music was gonna be. So it started with like just making beats and shit like that, you know? And then
I seen Latrice. Latrice said, I watched an interview with Drew and joined it with Matt Hoffa. Drew is very sharp and has really helped join because a lot of people were taking advantage of it. This guy is very, very sharp. And this is why people who, listen, money attracts money. You have to surround yourself with just, if you're gonna invest into a business, you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals and people who really have a full understanding of that business, that industry, right? The reason why I think a lot of people do get taken advantage of, like she said, he got taken advantage of, because people will take you on a ride. It goes back to what I said earlier. In every single sector of education and social media, there's people that take people on a ride every single day. All right. We saw it happen during the pandemic. We see it still happening. Not as much as during the pandemic, but people are going to take you on a ride. You have to get with people who are like-minded, especially if you're going to have someone that's managing your business. They have to be smarter than you. You have to understand the business to know if you're getting gaffled or not. But the person who's handling your business, they got to have a full understanding of that business. You have to have a full understanding of your business. You can't go out and entrust people that are learning at the same time as you. What do you expect? All these people during the pandemic, buying courses and shit, mentorship from people that's literally telling them on YouTube, just started my box truck business, posted the video 7 days ago, got a link. Make sure y'all tap into the link below so I can show you how to start your 7-figure. This person just rented their truck 7 days ago, but they telling you tap in below so I can show you how to start a 7-figure box truck business. They ain't even made 100,000. They just started 7 days ago, and you tapped the link, and you spent all your money on the course. You was a fool. If you did that, you a fool. And I don't care, because you are, and you know you are. You didn't use common sense. You a fool.
yeah, and then and it's like I don't really get that much time to do it because I'm always handling like the business side of it.
Right.
But it's a good like mental escape just to like.
See, me, I'm going to tell you a fool. I'm not going to sugarcoat you. Because I don't care neither way. You know why? Because I know the business inside and out. And you know I do. I'm not going to coddle you. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit for you. I'm not finna do none of that shit. If you allow people to take advantage of you, if you get gaffled when shit is evident right there, right in front of you, just start my box truck business. Let me show you how you can start your 7-figure box truck. Tap into the link below to buy a course. If they just uploaded the goddamn video 7 days ago, they probably ain't even made $10,000. Then you want to come to the internet and talk shit about them. You should be coming to the internet to talk shit about yourself. This is why I hold people accountable, and I can do it and not get backlash from it because I know the business. I challenge them. They don't challenge me. You know why? Because they watching. They learning. They still in the sauce and presenting it. The bag is still up. But listen, we're going to put the money into an escrow account. We're going to hire a mediator. Winner takes all.
Be able to make
I'm going to talk my shit now.
music. Sometimes it should get used. Sometimes
And I'm in the crib.
it don't. Jordan has picked up a few joints and did some joints with it, which has been
Running up the bag.
dope. It's been like, that's just like, damn, like that's fire. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've got to stay focused on really the business side of it, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so I got a little setup here if I ever want to make music, sleep, go to the front lounge, handle some business. It's just going to be comfortable on the road as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if you said the first tour, y'all shared the bus, everybody was on the bus.
It was nuts, dog. It was crazy. So the layout in like the crew bus, so this back area would be like a lounge with like a sectional couch, right? So you got like a little couch area.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Middle,
I don't really
so,
care about
like,
the layout. I want to get back to the
here all the way up.
I want to get back to the operational, the cost and shit like that. All right. So I'm going to forward it a little bit. I'm not really concerned.
To the front, right? One tire on this bus. I had the sectional like this. So I'd sleep on this side, Jordan was sleeping on that side. You know?
Like it make you appreciate this though, you know what I'm saying?
So when we did that so much, he was like, bro, I can't do this shit, bro. Like if we're gonna tour, we can't do it. So yeah, so as soon as the COVID shit happened, it was like, fuck it, let's get our buses. Let's go. And don't get me wrong, it's not just get a bus and it's like a car, it's just there. If you don't use these shits, they'll break. There's things like, all right, so look.
Same thing with trucks. My truck's been sitting dry rotting. So same situation.
One tire on this bus is $1,200. Right? So you got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, you got 8 tires. So to do a new set of tires on this whole thing,
10 minutes.
over. Right? All right, then you got airlines that travel from the front of the bus all the way through to the back of the bus. So it's on suspension and airlines. So, you know, if you're on slopes and shit like that. So if an airline breaks, your bus is already starting to tilt.
Right.
And airlines are just airlines. Like they can break, they can rip, they can, you know what I'm saying? They can split. Like, so, you know, you got a chassis, you know, which is the main Prevost chassis. And there's a bunch of work there with brakes and rotors and all that, right? You got a generator that's on the bus. So a generator, you got like a 20 kilowatt generator that powers this. A generator is about $20,000, right? And then you got a blower and a fan. And so the blower and the fan keeps the generator cool. So if the generator at any point blows or overheats or some shit like that, it's a $20,000 generator. Like you're gonna have to just replace, right? Because you didn't take care of it, it overheated or whatever. The generator ties into the ACs. So we got one. On this one, we got 3 ACs, zone 1, 2, and 3. So usually got 3 to 4 ACs on the bus. So the generator allows the lights and the AC and televisions and everything to run. You know what I mean?
How much was the initial investment when you said, hey, we're gonna go in and get our own buses?
All right, so bro, it's such a loaded question because you're not buying them brand new, right? You're buying them brand new, it's a few $1 million, right? So the 2024 type shit, right? All right, check this. This bus right here is a 2001 chassis.
Okay, it's 20-year-old.
Okay, look at the inside though.
Yeah.
It's rent.
This is crazy. Every single thing that I talk about when it pertains to box trucking, as far as logistics transportation, correlates with logistics transportation and touring. He understands cost. He didn't go out and buy brand new buses. He went out and bought the whole thing. Why? Bigger return on investment. Man, y'all, listen. Y'all better leave me alone. I'm trying to listen. Stop messing with me. Stop messing with me. Y'all young boys out there, even some of y'all old ones, y'all better leave me alone. Don't put your money. Put your money up. I dare you. I dare you. Bigger return on investment, bigger profit margin. We're investing into something, right? With no backing. This is our money going in. We understand what the margins are. It makes more sense to go in and buy something older for cheaper, gut out the inside, do whatever mechanical things that we need to do to kind of make sure it's operational, and we're still saving an abundance of money. Continue to go out and do what's not in your best interest. Go out and buy you your 2022s, your 2023s, and then come holler at me on the call-in show or in the Discord, not understanding where all the money is going when I constantly been telling you since day one the margins are small. You need to do everything in your power to lower your operational cost. Business guy or gal, I know they told you. Listen, I know they told you rent a box truck, you're going to make $1 million. I know they told you to go out and do all these things that really aren't in the best interest for you. But me, I'm telling you how to make the money. And I've been telling this, listen, this is not something, I haven't switched up nothing I've said since I've been on YouTube. I've seen other people switch up their content, and it kind of mirrors mine, don't you think? There's a lot of people saying some of the shit that I was saying 2 years ago now, but they was telling you the opposite. Get off that book. Listen. Go ahead out there with your 2022 and your 2023. Pay your big ass note, your big ass insurance bill on something where the return is, and you competing. Me? Listen, I'm going to tell you, if I was coming in the 26-foot box truck game, I guarantee you I'm going to go buy me something from 2000. Not the 2010, something from 2000. And I'm going to run it up. I'm going to be the guy that's y'all telling is taking the cheap shit. Because it ain't going to be cheap for me. I understand the cost. I don't want no new truck. If I'm going to get into this business, I need to make sure my costs are as low as possible. I keep telling y'all this shit. Why is it that all the smart people understand this shit? In every mode of logistical transportation. It's like this guy and me are the same guy. This just came out. Why is it that we speaking the same words? In that form of logistics transportation, in this form, why does it seem like our brains are on one accord and they align? Because he knows what he's talking about. Everything that he's saying, I tell you, even down to the verbiage, verbatim. Listen. That's why you got the winners and some feelings for me. You got the winners, you got the losers, you got the haves, you got the have-nots. You got the people who want to educate themselves and the people who want to do what's not in the best interest for them by not educating themselves. You got the leaders, you got the followers. You got the thinkers, you got the unthinkers. This shit is it's cut and dry. See how smart this guy is and intelligent he is and well-spoken and articulate from the business perspective of logistic transportation from that sector and how it exactly correlates with what we got going on over here.
Renovated on the inside. You will never know because it's on an 01 chassis, but it's renovated. So these buses, see, a lot of artists, what they do is they're like, oh, I want to book a bus. It's going to be new. What's the year? And that's the wrong way to look at a bus. You should never look at a bus like that, right? Because you could have a new bus and it's not even broke in, which means you're going to have problems. And identify the problems. You only identify the problems on the bus as it goes, as it's on the road. Okay, you might not have a motor problem. You might not have a transmission problem, but that's not the only thing you got to worry about on a bus. If you have an air leak problem, your bus can't move because your bus is going to hit the floor. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have these other issues that you might have not encountered yet. So they always say you should get a bus that's like broken in so you can know what the kinks are in it and you can address them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you know, this bus specifically, you know, it's a 01, obviously renovated on the inside new. I mean, if you bought it right now, it's maybe like $350. Okay. You know? So, if we ever were to book a bus on the road now, I would never ask what year it is. The first thing I would say is how many miles on it. I want to know how many miles have been put on the bus. So these things can go for 1 million plus miles. So this bus only has 200, I gotta check, maybe like 270,000 miles. So this is like broken in now, right? But it's got mad life left. It's got 800,000 plus miles, depending on how I take care of it. Right? So it's got a lot of life, but it's a 01. So it's broken in, 270,000 miles, and it's only a 01. It's not been, it's not had a reman engine. It's the original engine in it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's you know, it's not been overworked. Right. You see what I mean? But it's been broken enough to be used. So the first thing I ask is how many miles on the thing, because that's gonna. If they tell me, oh, the bus got 800,000 miles, I'm like, oh, you just running this thing. Might have issues on the road. That might be the time where fucking the motor goes out or the transmission goes out. The second thing I ask is when was it last on the road? If it's been sitting for 6 months because it got out of the shop, I don't want it. It doesn't guarantee me the shit gonna work when it get on the road because you might have some other problems that come up now. You know what I mean? So I'll be like, did it just come off a tour? Perfect, that's the bus I want. Because it just came off the tour, I know it's already faced all its issues it's gonna have on the road. Show me the maintenance log. What's the issues you had on the last run? You know what I mean? Because, bro, it's a nightmare. Because what you put up a deposit, right? You book the bus. Now you're on the road. Now you have an issue. Technically, the company's responsible for being able to give you another bus and all that. But these supply and demand, they can't just get a bus. So now what? You got to book flights? What are you doing? Waiting on the company to book your flight? Nah, you got to show. You're going to probably book it and then ask them to pay you back. Now, what's the chances of them paying you back? Right? So it's like you could book a bus thinking you're getting a great deal and just end up screwing yourself into double the amount of money because you're going to have issues with that bus and now you're fighting with that person. There's a lot of shady businesses and shady companies out here. A ton of them. I've dealt with them. The reason I bought a bus is because I had an operator operate my bus and he did shady shit. So I don't fuck with him no more. Because this whole business is dirty. You know what I'm saying? It's a dirty, dirty business. Like, motherfuckers, you take a bus somewhere, people take parts out of your shit and throw it onto another bus and switch it out. You'll never know. Jeez. You're not a mechanic.
That's crazy, man, because I was just talking about the other day how that
Mark, why you don't rent those trucks? They sitting. Because motherfucker do some shit like that. Everything I told you this was a shady, dirty business. Keep coming into this business thinking shit sweet. Business guy or gal, own the new. Own the new. You own the new.
History, like artists usually get pointed to record labels in terms of all the evil or just things that's bad. But then obviously we have this Live Nation thing and you hear, okay, well, there's things on the touring side. And now you're talking about something as specific as just who's operating the buses. It just sounds like there's so many different businesses to learn like being an artist manager, right? And then there's so many potential bad people that you got to protect yourself from.
Listen, the touring side is probably one of the ugliest.
Really?
Yeah. Like the record label stuff, it's like right in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like wearing a suit across the boardroom, you know what I'm saying? And they're telling you to your face. In this business, like you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like again, not a mechanic.
Right.
I don't know if you fucking took some shit out the bus and replaced it with something else, and you know what I mean? Like you don't know. Like you don't know until you stop and have a problem with something. And now it's like, now you gotta match up serial numbers. Is this the part I bought? But imagine you take your bus into a shop, right? Everything good, right? Imagine you got on the back, you got 2 tires. You got 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then you got singles, right? What are you gonna do? Go look at them and think about how they blew? You got no clue. So what? You gotta track the serial number on the tire? You follow what I'm saying? It's like there's so much little things within the bus business that I had to learn because I bought the buses, then I had an operator operate them, and then once I saw it wasn't going the way it needed to go, I was like, damn, that's how I got my crash course in it. And it's like, it's cool, I took the L, you know what I mean? Because that's how I learned about it. Yeah. Now I know you ain't gonna get over on me on the road when I have to book 10 buses, because we're gonna go do stadiums now. And when a driver saying, oh, this went out. Oh, did it? How'd you know that? You know what I mean? And they start talking their lingo, you know, oh yeah, you know, the transmission's out and the motor's doing this. Did you plug it into the ECM? He's like, oh, how does he know what a fucking ECM is? You know what I mean? Yeah. Can you show me the report? Did you take it into a shop? What shop you take? Mom and pop? No, I need to go to a Detroit Diesel. I need the report from them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I know enough now to know where like a driver can't get over on me. You know what I mean? And I took.
He knows enough not to be deceived. Because he educated himself on what he invested in.
I took an L with that before just to be able to understand that and learn that so I won't be in that situation.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Right. And so there's a lot of little logistics to this. You know, they're like, oh, the generator don't start. The generator don't start. Oh, look, we're trying it. And we're going to have to get a mechanic out. Oh, you spend $1,000. Oh, he couldn't fix it. We're going to have to get someone else. You know what I mean? Well, why don't it start? When was the last service on it? You know, and we're looking at different shit and I'm learning the shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the solenoid. You just got to replace the solenoid. Look, the shit's not touching. That part's like fucking couple $100. You know, and so it's so many, again, we're not mechanics, so we don't know this stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know this shit. I'm learning this shit as I go. You know what I mean? I was told my steering is off. Oh, the steering's dragging. You're gonna need a whole new front end. Right, Trev? They were like, you're gonna need a whole new front end, right? Man, your steering is really bad. It's really bad. The steering fluid's good, but this shit is so stiff. So I was like, word. I was like, do me a favor, get the alignment done first. Change these tires, let's get the alignment done first. He did the alignment. Yo, it's fine now.
How much did that cost?
Yep. Fucking less than $500. You're talking $60,500. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we had a tire that blew on the road. So we got a new tire put in. And then we were on the road for 5 days. And the steering just kept getting worse. We went and looked at the new tire. The whole tire, the inside thread was flush. Like, had no thread in it. And we only drove like maybe 1,500 miles maybe. And so it's like, you know, there's a lot of logistics to this business that a lot of people don't understand. And I don't know, you know, not even close to what I need to know. You know what I mean? But at this point, it's all high level shit, right? I don't need to know everything. I'm not a fucking mechanic. I don't, right? Yeah. But I just need to know enough, or I need to have enough resources. You know, my guy Travis from Major Touring, he's like a good resource. He's a dope cat. He's got like 8 buses. He does a lot of the big tours in the US, you know what I'm saying? If something go wrong, he's the one that was like, yo, Drew, have him turn the wheel all the way to the right and go look at the tire, and then have him do it all the way to the left and go look at the other tire. And I sent him the picture. He goes, yo, the tires is flush. Go get that alignment. He's the one that told me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I went and did it. He was like, is it good? I was like, yeah, everything perfect now. He's like, I bet. Yeah. I didn't know to look at that. I'm learning that shit now. Yeah. Now whenever that happens, I know. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the touring business, I'll say, is real important that you just have key people that you can trust that know enough about the business, so you can lean on them as shit comes up. For us,
Same thing in this box truck or semi trucking, or if you financial, or you have to find people who have a deep understanding of the business, right? Experience is always going to be the best teacher. Experience. I can say experience to infinity is always going to be your best teacher. But yet and still, people are going to go out and, 7 days ago, posted 7 days ago, just rented my first box truck, just started my first box truck business, posted 7 days ago. Make sure you hit the link below and tap in so I can teach you how to start this 7-figure box truck course. And they just rented their first truck and uploaded the video 7 days ago, but they selling you a $5,000 mentorship. And you click it.
break down, you need a bus. They know, they can get you on a
That shit should get no clicks.
bus. So you got a problem with the bus, they can tell you, hey, diagnose it, do this, do that, do this, to try help you figure it out. It's a small community too. And what's that saying? The mechanic always tries to gyp you.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It's just a more expensive, bigger version.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So y'all gotta rent these things out as soon as y'all get off the tour, basically. Like, is that the goal? Like, to always keep the bus?
So I had this one leased. For like a year. Now I'm using it. But it's been active. I didn't just have it sit, because it would have been worse if I just had it sit. So I ended up leasing it because I wasn't using it. Yeah.
Hey, this is crazy, man.
Right here.
Yeah.
This is the stage set for joining.
You said a state sale?
Yeah, stage set.
Oh, state set.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
gotcha.
that was the production. That's his actual stage set. And then my one was used for the merchandising. We'll go into the venue so you can see kind of like the setup. You know what I mean? So you can see how we got this whole thing set up. This lighting trust, this right here, the video, we're bringing this stuff in.
I think I'm gonna stop as far as, because now they're going into the side and they're talking about the cost as far as the in-venue cost. I just wanted to focus more on the logistics, transportation cost, and how it correlates with other forms of logistics transportation, primarily what we talk about over here as far as box trucking. And you see it's pretty much the same. I mean, it goes hand in hand. The verbiage is the same. Supply and demand, leverage, all the things that I talk about on this channel, they hold precedence in the logistics touring side. All right. So once again, we're still on operational costs, because every day, whether I'm on a live stream, doing a call-in, or if I'm talking to someone in a Discord, this is the issue. And it all leads back to the same thing. Robbing from the sustainability of the business to cover expenses that do not directly correlate with the business itself at all whatsoever. It always leads back to down one path, one road. Not understanding, not even knowing your cost per hour, not understanding your operational costs, and having a lifestyle that your business can't afford, right? You really can't afford, which leads you to rob from the sustainability of the business to fund that, because you're not practicing delayed gratification, because you believe that starting a business automatically puts you in a different tax bracket and you're going to build generational wealth. And people just don't get, listen, it's one box truck. Let's kick it for a second, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna jump on the Discord. What do you really think you can make in one box truck? Let's kick it. The lifestyle that you want to live, in order to live that lifestyle, the lifestyle that some of your favorite content creators exude out to you, you gotta be running at scale. All right. You're never going to get to scale if you don't know your operational cost. You'll never get there. You will never be able to acquire 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I sound like Future. You'll never be able to continue to scale if you don't know your operational costs to understand where you need to cut, if you're getting a return on your investment. If you don't know how much it costs you to run your business, to be able to tweak certain things so that you can have the cash flow to continue to be able to continue to reinvest that cash flow back into the business to build the business up, how you expect to scale? That's the only way. Some of this, the way they talk about what you're going to do, generational wealth, and be this gazillionaire to the point where you're just, because they make it seem like you're going to be richer than Elon and them. You won't have to do that shit at scale. One truck ain't going to get you there, pimp. To be honest with you, one truck, depending on what you were doing prior to getting into the business, you may be making less with one truck as a box truck owner operator than you were at your career, depending on what you was doing. Depending on what you was doing. There's some people that come from, white collar jobs, upper management, things of that nature, where they touching 150, 175, 200. If you touching 150, 175 as an employee, I 100% guarantee you are going to make less money as a box truck owner operator. Why? Because that's probably what your box truck going to make in a year. Well, man, that's the same thing. No, it's not. Whatever you're being taxed on that $150,000, $175,000 that you're making as an employee, you're going to take home more money than if you were to leave that job, go out, make $150,000, $175,000 as a box truck owner operator, because more than 50% of that $150,000, $175,000 is going to go to cost. So let's say you operate on a 50% margin, which is unheard of, but I know some people out there that say you can operate on a 70% margin. There's some box truck content creators that I have out there that say you can operate on a 70, 80% margin, but I digress. We are not going to go there. We discussed that last year. We trying to be cool. But let's just for, sake of argument, let's say you operate on a nifty 50%, right? You make 150,000 gross your truck. Now your operational costs are 50%. You still got to pay yourself. So you already under what you would take home as the employee if you was making 150, 175,000. Still got to play yourself. Now you're paying yourself on a 52-week. However your salary is for those 52 weeks. Let's say you pay yourself $1,000 a week. That's $52,000. But you come from a job making 150, 175, so you have a lifestyle that directly correlates with making that type of money, because you're taking home over 6. Now you're taking home under 6 by about 50,000. So now you don't really have that much cash flow, and the little cash flow that you have left over, if we look at it from the totality on a year scale like that, you've been dipping into that because you have to ride from the sustainability of the business to account for the lifestyle that $150,000, $175,000 salary afforded you. Because $52,000 ain't going to be able to pay the mortgage for the house that you went out and bought because you was making a bag. The car that you driving because you was making a bag. The upkeep of the house. The kids. The extracurricular activities for the kids. The groceries. Because you taking home 100 and after tax, you might be bringing home 103, 104. Now you only bringing home 52. So now that $25,000 that would have been cash flow, you've been dipping into that every single week. See how the room just went from 40 something to 30? Now they don't want to hear that. It's too much, like, because it's I keep telling y'all, pay attention to how the numbers go. People don't want to hear it. Listen, I keep telling y'all. They don't want to hear that. You think you're going to come out here with one truck and run up a bag? And no, you're not. Most people that got one truck is making less than $100,000 a year. Well, Mark, somebody asked yesterday, well, Mark, ain't the money the business make my money? No. It's not your money. It's the business's money. But it costs to make, listen, it costs to make the money. Yo, listen, $150,000 after operational cost, if you gross 150 running OTR, you're spending over $50,000 in cost. We just did an example at 50 to make the shit simple, to make the math simple. That's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. See how the room's just steady going down and down and down. It's not realistic. You fall into the propaganda that's perpetuated. I'm telling you the real. Do the numbers. Do the math. You think you're going to go make $150,000 in a box truck at no cost? Everything is going to be on the free ski. On the free ski. No cost, none whatsoever. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. I want you to keep doing it. It benefits me. You could be on the side, the winners or the losers. Either way, it don't make me no never mind. I would just tell you the truth regardless. Whether you like it, you don't like it. Some of your favorite people don't like it. They think I'm spewing. I'm telling you the truth, pimp. I know what it's like to scale. On a major level. I know what it costs. I know how to do it. I know how to enter. I know how to exit. I know how to scale. I know how to maintain. I know how to survive. I know how to cut. I know how to delay. I know how to win. Even on here. I don't do nothing to lose. I do shit to win. Yeah, it's that cocky. Man, I don't like that dude. He arrogant. You got that right. You know what I mean? Hours I had to spend learning this shit, trial and error, blood, sweat, and tears, reading, studying, paying attention, early days, late nights. You goddamn right. I'm cocky than a motherfucker. Put your bag up, pimp. I know what the problem is. We gonna lower it. Maybe the pot just done got a little bit too big. We are going through an economical decline. Times are hard right now. I understand. Maybe we should lower it. Maybe we should make the debate. Maybe we should make the bag something that's a little bit affordable, right? What should we lower it down? Make it $1,000. You think $1,000 we'll be able to catch some? We'll be able to catch some bait. Should we lower it to a G? Should we lower it to a G? Fuck it. Let's lower it to a G. Let's make it simple. Let's see if we can catch somebody for the G ball. Let's lower it to a G. I'll debate somebody for a G. Now this is People make money, their lifestyle increases. The more money they make, the more money they spend. One truck ain't gonna get you there, pimp. It ain't. So I thought this would be a good comparison analysis to what we got going. I try to mix things up to kind of make things interesting and just try to find things to kind of substantiate everything that I talk about, because, you know, my information gets challenged all the time. But here's the thing, man. Listen, the formula is the formula, man. The formula is the formula. I'm giving you the formula for success. So, I can find different ways to kind of, present it to you over and over again so that it touches different people, and then try to make it entertaining as well to kind of capture different audiences, and, use my characters like Man, Phonum, and, do my little, things to keep things, spicy so it's not boring. It's all in good fun. Some of the shit I mean, though, I'm bring your bag. Listen, bring your bag. I'm serious about that. Bring the bag. You feel what I'm saying? But, the formula is the formula. The people who subscribe to the information that is beneficial are going to be the people that win. One box truck ain't going to get you there. And one box truck not operated in the correct manner, by not knowing your operation costs, is not going to allow you to scale so that you can get there. Running one box truck and not delaying your gratification is going to lead you to robbing from the sustainability of your business. And then you're going to have a broke box truck business like I talked about a few weeks ago. Truck business is going to be broke. Broke business because you've been stealing from the business to go stand on couches or take trips. We talked about that in the members only. Y'all, some of y'all like to pay by 4. Keep paying by 4. I want you to continue to pay by 4. Because I invested into the company that acquired Afterpay. Benefits me for you to go out and continue to buy things that you can't afford. If you got to pay by 4 for a goddamn blender on Amazon, you can't afford it. If you can't buy a $60 blender, you can't afford a blender. You know what you need to do? You need to get to slicing and dicing with your knife. Get to slicing and dicing with your knife. Stop taking these trips and you can't Afterpay. But I need you to do it. Shout out to Square for inquiring Afterpay. I keep telling you, one person's, downfall is the next person's come up. When there's blood in the streets, there's opportunity. Keep doing what's not in your best interest. This is how you run it up. All right, man. I got to talk my shit at the end. I wait to the end to talk my shit. The shit. I wait to the end because I try to get the educational stuff out first. But I digress. I'm going to hop on the Discord shortly before I go to the gym and get my workout in, because I got to leave that. Got to leave the house for a minute. You dig what I'm saying? So until next time, toodaloo.